holds the longest field goal in the history of the NFL. And it's not even his longest that he has kicked in an NFL-sanctioned game. Ladies and gentlemen, 68-yard bomber from the Jacksonville Jaguars and Woo Pig Suey. Ladies and gentlemen, Cam Little.
Yeah. Pleasure to be on the show. I'm excited, man. I always wanted to be on the show.
Pig Suey. There it is. Yeah, we always get it wrong.
Yeah,
we try our best, Cam. Thank you for joining us. And you said you've always wanted to be on the show. Since watching you kick a ball, I have always been very fascinated by how you create so much leg speed. So let's dive into this. I don't think you're like the most jacked guy. I don't think you're
that's a very fair statement.
Yeah, Little's your last name. I don't think you're tiny, but you're certainly not one of these massive guys. Have you always had an incredibly strong leg, like in soccer? Whenever you were growing up, were you always the free kick taker? Always had a strong leg, and how'd you get to this point?
Yes, I think that's where I kind of first started. I was always good at taking free kicks and penalty kicks, and all that stuff kind of tied into me learning how to kick a football. And obviously, going to Coles camps growing up, I never really had the fastest leg, and I developed a little later in my high school career. When I was going to these camps, I saw guys that had faster legs than me, and I would always ask them, like, how are you guys getting your legs faster? Like, because at the end of the day, that's what gets you the most power on the ball. And so, started developing a faster leg, and now it's like my best trait as a kicker, because obviously I'm a 6'1", 175-pound guy that cannot squat a huge amount. So everyone always asks me, how do you kick the ball so far? I think ball contact and leg speed is the key to kicking the ball so far and high.
Yeah, you're hitting the ball sweet. Every time you're hitting that ball sweet, which is not easy. Vinatieri, I was very lucky to work alongside. Obviously, everybody in the kicking world knows Adam Vinatieri. Vinny, whenever I got there, I used to be a kicker in college, and I had a strong leg, but I had no idea where the ball was going. So his big thing was like, hey, you cannot sacrifice the sweet spot. So if you have to swing 85% to hit the sweet spot, do that. If you have to swing 75% to hit the sweet spot, to do that. Now, granted, if you can swing hundo and hit the sweet spot, that is where the magic comes. And that's where the Cam Littles of the world come in, I do believe. This generation of kickers bombing it further than ever. You had a 70-yarder in preseason against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody loses their mind. You're like, holy hell. And then obviously the conversations about Aubrey in Dallas. You hitting that 68-yarder now against the Raiders. Because of the 70-yarder, were you confident walking out there this was going to be a make? Like, that obviously has to be the mindset. But 68 is you're so much closer to the other uprights than the ones that you're kicking to. What is the mentality as you're walking out there, Cam?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of go out there, and Logan and Ross both do a great job of prepping me for this stuff. Logan always thinks I hit the ball the best when I'm swinging the hardest. And so I told him right as I was going out there to spot it, I said, I'm swinging hard at this football. I'm making sure that I'm going to drill this thing. And so, I spot the ball, and I'm looking down at the spot, and I tell him that, and he's like, hit that ball hard, boy. And so hit it hard, and obviously stayed left middle and just stuck dead straight down that left middle the whole time. And, you go out there and you prep so much from deep in practice, and, you're working with your op for fun back there at 60-plus sometimes. And then for it to finally come to fruition again was so cool.
Yeah, in a real game, too. They won't give you credit for that 70-yarder. They won't give you credit. They won't give you credit. We will, obviously, because we've seen it before. But 68 in the history books forever, brother, at least for the time being. Now, talking about hitting that 68-yarder, last night there was an op. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Cam, I don't know if you were watching the game at all or not, but when Aubrey goes back to 68, and we had mentioned it yesterday on the show, where like, oh, 68, this could get broken this season. Aubrey's going tonight, and then he steps back to 68. Is he one of the guys, like, when you go back and you're like, oh, no, like, is he going to do it tonight? Is he going to top me tonight?
Yeah, I actually wasn't watching the game, but I had got a FaceTime call from someone, and they're like, dude, you watching this game right now? And I was like, no, what's happening? He's like, Aubrey's about to attempt a 68. And I was like, yeah, he's going to hit it.
One day? I get 1 day? That is a funny. 63.
Man,
63 lived forever. Then 64. Then we get to 66. You hit 68. It almost only had a 24-hour shelf life. That is a wild thing to think about.
Yeah, it's actually crazy to think about. And I was talking to the media the other day, and I was like, this record's going to get broken this season. I want to live through this record. Obviously, selfishly, I want the record, but there's so many guys around the NFL that are so good at kicking footballs now that I have a feeling it will get broken. You look at Brandon Aubrey, for instance. You look at Jake Bates, 64, twice last year in the UFL. He's hit 60-plus with the Lions. And so you look at guys that have that leg strength, and it's honestly just impressive.
I think everybody has the legs. Well, not everybody. I saw a couple people come up short, and then, some people were getting the QB ball in there instead of the K ball. Let's talk about the balls a little bit. How's it feel going in? And I know you're just a young ass, kicker. You have no idea what it was like back in the day. Okay, you don't know what it was like with the brand new balls coming in to the games. But this year, obviously, huge changes, the K ball. Everybody's talking about it. From your perspective, can you give your take on the K ball being brought into the game as opposed to a brand new ball?
Yeah, I can. Thankfully we have the best equipment staff. That we have a guy that is so good at breaking in footballs. Like last year, we would get them. Obviously, the rule change where you can get it through the week and you can use it 3 weeks and it's got to be out. But last year you had to break in. Obviously, the ball 30 minutes before the game. You got a guy in there breaking that thing in like it's like literally sitting there sweating and drenched in sweat trying to break in the football. And so our guy did a really good job last year breaking the footballs in. And so we had a good K-ball last year. And I thought, going into this year, it does give you that bit of edge of you can hit the ball just about 3 or 4 yards farther, I think. But I don't think it's enough to not give guys enough credit, because I think guys are just, yes, the K-ball is going to make you kick the ball farther, but I think guys in the NFL are just getting more talented. I mean, you look, Brandon Aubrey, we'll speak on him for a sec. He's had 4 60-plus yarders this season, 3 60-plus yarders this season or something like that. And he was doing that last year too. He did 66 in preseason last year, and that's with the old ball. So I think guys are just getting more talented, and specialists from high school to college to the NFL are just getting that more talented. And I think that probably has more to do with it than the K-ball. That's my personal opinion, though.
No, I think you're accurate in saying that. Now, you said 3 to 4 more yards for the ball coming in we talk about brand new ball, it's like 15 yards. Brand new ball out of the box, 15, 20
yards. Brand new ball out of the box is a lot different, yes.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. Mentally, too, though. I think going onto the field knowing that the ball is a ball that you've kicked before, mentally, I think that probably helps. And I would like to say, I'm 38 now. How old are you?
22.
Jesus Christ.
You're the youngest kicker ever drafted into the NFL, by the way. He was. Youngest guy ever drafted in the NFL. Absolute beast, with that being said. Not easy to get drafted at the kicking position. But, I kicked a soccer ball like 124 miles an hour, okay? I kicked like a 70-yard field goal when I was in high school. Okay, so I had a very strong leg. I think people would say, hey, this guy had a very strong leg. Now, did I know where it was headed? No. I mean, that thing was, there's a good chance that thing was traveling. But nowadays, your guys' leg strength is just, I don't even think I'd be top 15, top 20 in the league right now. And you talk about how, the evolution, it all becomes from what? Perfecting technique throughout high school with Jamie Cole and the Cole brothers?
Yeah.
And then also exercising and everything. Do you think there's going to be a peak for this? Do you think you guys are going to continue to go? Because you're 22, you're only going to get stronger somehow if this really works out.
I think even from last season to this season, I think my leg has just gotten that bit stronger. I was hitting from 60-plus last year, but I think
70. That one would have been good from 72. You hit there in Las Vegas. I think that hit the net, bro. That hit the fucking net.
And so you make that little jump, and it was like, dude, I didn't think my leg could get stronger from last year, but it has. And like you said, guys are just going to keep setting the peak higher and higher. Eventually, we're going to see someone hit a 75-yarder. So I think it's just evolving, and I think it will just keep peaking until eventually it can't peak anymore. When that will be, we have no clue, because there's going to be someone that's going to set it again.
Feels like it's not within the next 10 years with your little ass coming through their entire thing. Also, having a great team around you and coaching staff is a part of it. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Cam, how's your relationship with Liam Cohen? We've kind of heard a few different coaches talk this past week. Matt LaFleur says, he doesn't speak to the kicker. We saw Sean Payton, bark at Will Lutz before his game winner. Hey, right through. What is your relationship with Liam Cohen? And did you get that shiner from the celebration after hitting that 68-yarder?
I'll answer that question first. I got bit by a dog when I was 5. I was eating a bologna sandwich and got bit by a dog. Jumped up, tried to get my bologna sandwich, but it didn't. It didn't get my bologna sandwich, bit me in the eye.
Hell yeah, you finished that bologna sandwich.
Yeah, exactly
yes,
right.
You did, all right.
No, but, man, Liam has been such a good just head coach to me. And I know sometimes you don't have the best relationship as far as head coach specialists. They kind of want to leave you alone and let you do your thing. But I think he instills a lot of confidence in me throughout the week, throughout prep, throughout pregame. And, we have a very good relationship with each other. And, throughout, kind of prep this week, during field goal period, he's out there, nice operation, nice kicks, nice punts, Logan. So that's something for me that is huge to hear out of my head coach, because as a specialist unit, we want to know that our head coach is involved with us. We want him to be, acting like knowing it's a big deal. And so Liam is a superstar about that, and I can't thank him enough as a head coach, because he does care a lot about us as specialists. And that one-on-one relationship is forever indebted.
Yeah, I'm happy you're an athlete. Some of these kickers, you've been to those kicking camps, not athletes, and that's like who these coaches, like, I'm not talking to the kicker, I'm not talking to the kicker. You're treating them as if they're not athletes. Like, hey, these guys are just coming out to do there. You can tell how much the coach respects the athleticism of the kicker with how they interact with each other. LaFleur saying I don't talk to kickers is like, okay.
He's a dickhead, though.
Bingo.
So
That's exactly how I would view that. It's Vinatieri. Imagine LaFleur saying, I don't talk to Adam Vinatieri. Vinatieri, motherfucker, I don't talk to you either. Like, what are we even talking about? So I respect and appreciate that. And I don't know if you heard Liam Cohen say, he felt like he won the Super Bowl after you hit that. He said it felt like we won the Super Bowl after he hit that, because the excitement. Now, you guys had to go out in the second half and overtime and go win that game, and you're able to do that. But I love how much Liam has supported you, and I like how many opportunities he's given you because of the amount of shit he's seen you do in practice. On that note, you made history, brother. It'll live on forever. D-Butt has a question for you.
Absolutely. We had a chance to go down to Canton, the Hall of Fame, and they do a great job preserving different things from the game. And you said history. You made history. So have you put any thought about, or do they just come in and take what they're going to put in the Hall of Fame to be enshrined forever?
Man, I'm definitely keeping the football. That's 100%. And I'm still deciding if I'm going to give him my jersey or not. But I think I might let it go and let Canton have that one.
Let the jersey roll, bro. Let the jersey roll. Canton, dude, the fact they'll put your ass. They'll have lights on that thing. They'll have a picture of you.
Do it right.
Keep the ball for sure. Have that.
I still have the ball from the 70 as well. Actually, I was telling my coordinator, my ball, I haven't put it on a plaque yet. It's actually sitting in my pantry, right next to some protein bars in my pantry. I haven't moved it yet. So
he's 22 years old. This guy's 22.
Yep.
This guy's got no idea about life. Okay, we need to get those things in some frames. We need those things lit up with LED. We need them put on the wall because you're doing special stuff, brother. Legitimately, very special stuff. It's been an honor to kind of watch you go about doing your thing. 22-year-old. This guy has no idea about life at this point. Who cares? Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Cam, speaking of all that, you being an athlete and the relationship you have with Coach Cohen, like at this point, if you're going back to 70, people are, you're kind of in that Aubrey territory. Have you maybe talked to him a little bit like, hey, maybe we do like a fake field goal pass here. You give me the opportunity to throw a 70-yard touchdown, or maybe I tuck and run, and I give a couple people a few shoulders to chew on, and maybe I get a 70-yard touchdown run. Like, is there any of that kind of stuff going on behind the scenes now?
Man, I think there's a funny story, actually. Me and Logan, my holder and the punter, we're talking about trying to, what does a fake field goal look like? And I was like, dude, do you think I could ever run a fake field goal? And he goes, if you ever had the ball in your hands, I would be extremely worried. One, because I think you would get broken in half. And two, you can't throw. So I think we might stay away from the fake field goal.
And Logan's a beast, though. Logan is a beast.
He's an athlete. You talk about a guy that's an athlete, man. That guy, talk about his punting. That dude is unbelievable. I know we're talking about fake field goals. That guy is unbelievable at punting the football and throwing the football. So to have a guy like that in my room that's leading me, and to have a guy like Ross snapping it, 2-time All-Pro snapper, and a All-Pro punter last year, both Pro Bowlers, like, they set me up for success. And those guys are elite at what they do. So it makes my job a lot easier.
That's a good place to be when you got a snapper and a holder that are all pro alongside of you. And then you got a kicker that can hit from 68 and 70. Liam Cohen's living a good life whenever it comes to special teams. Please tell Logan Cook we're massive fans. That big country fucking bomb balls, dude.
He can, man. He is unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, Jacksonville's not a bad place to call home either. I know you guys.
No,
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're 22. All right, enjoy your life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars, record setter, history maker. Ladies and gentlemen, Cam Little. That bad.